Hello students, welcome back to the current affairs update. Let us start with the first news bit. The first news bit comes from Brics Nations, and they tell Brics call for providing support to MSME. Now in the previous video we had discussed about the important role MSMEs play in the development of the economy. Since they are labor intensive in nature, they produce a lot of jobs, which is the requirement at this point. So Brics Nations are also supporting the MSMEs. Now what is this Brics Nations all about? Brics is an acronym which stands for Brazil, Russia, India, China and South Africa. Now these are the fastest growing economies of the world, and they have all come together and they have formed a bloc. So this economic bloc is cooperating with each other, that is amongst the countries, and they're making sure that they all develop, they grow, and they become the biggest economies in the world. So this bloc is called the BRICS. So these countries are extending their support towards the development of micro and small and medium enterprises, that is MSMEs. Right, let's go to the next news bit. This is interesting. What is happening in the banking world? We all know there is lockdown, there is slowdown. People are talking about recessional trend, recession, and there are a lot of talks that are happening. So this is definitely going to affect the banking sector. So what's happening? If you look at the Deutsche Bank, this comes from Germany, and they have set aside some 500 million euros to fight the losses that they might occur because of this lockdown and slowdown and all that. If you take India, Q4 results of Axis Bank is out, and they have registered a loss of 1,388 crore rupees in the last quarter of the previous financial year, which is not a great news at all. And they also know that this is going to continue. This is a very tough time for the banks, so they are keeping aside 3,000 crores to fight the COVID-19 impact. Now there is an important name here which we have to remember. It is Amitabh Chaudhry. He is the MD and CEO of Axis Bank. This is important because this name qualifies under the business leaders for us. So we need to remember this name. Right, let's go to the third bit. Arogya Setu soon for feature phones. Now there are two phones, one is smartphone and other is the feature phone. Feature phones are ordinary phones which do not have the downloading capacity. That is called the feature phones according to this news bit, and Arogya Setu will be introduced to such phones also. Now what has happened? What is Arogya Setu all about? Arogya Setu is an app which is introduced by central government, which indicates our health position, and if there is somebody nearby us and who are showing the symptoms of COVID, the app would indicate us about them. That is the whole idea behind this app. Now the Telecom and Information Broadcasting Minister Ravi Shankar Prasad has told already 75 million downloads have already happened for the Arogya Setu app. And how much is 75 million? 75 into 10 lakhs, so that comes to around 7.5 crore people in India have already downloaded. It's a very good sign. Even I am using this app. This is quite informative, useful, educative in nature. If you are yet to download it, you may do it, keeping in mind your health and safety. Right, let's go ahead. Next is India's only UV lamp makers flooded with orders. Now what are these UV lamps? UV lamps are ultraviolet lamps. Ultraviolet rays have the capacity to kill the microbes. So there is a lot of demand for these companies. They are operating in Pune. So these two companies are Arclight and Aeropure Aero Systems. So these are the two companies which are operating in Pune, and they are getting a lot of orders, is what is this news bit telling us. Now what is important for us here is, yesterday we saw Wi-Fi and other internet services are getting a lot of demand, and today we see this. So in spite of crisis and all those things, there are certain products which are able to do well. Yesterday we also discussed about tractors, and the tractor equipments getting a lot of orders. That's why M&M has opened 40% of their dealership and all that. So it's not completely gloomy. Although few doors have closed, at least few windows are opening. Right, this is important for us. Not a great news, but we need to understand how exactly it works. 8.2 lakh withdraw PF during lockdown. Now what is the expansion of PF? PF stands for Provident Fund. There are different types. There is something called EPF, there is something called PPF, there is also something called the VPF. Here we shall focus on EPF in maybe in the videos to come. We will take up PPF and VPF and discuss it, but as of now let us focus on employee provident fund. Now what is this all about? This is a mandatory saving every employee has to do. Now how does it work? Say an employee is working in an organization, that's why he becomes an employee. Out of the basic salary he gets 12% of that. Employer, that is a person who has given the job, would be remitting towards the EPF account of the employee. Equal amount, that is 12% of the basic, employee will be contributing towards the EPF account. So total becomes 24%. So 24% of the basic salary of an employee is credited in the EPF account. EPF account is maintained by central government. Say let's take a numerical example. 10,000 rupees is the basic of a person. 12% of that is 1,200 from the employer plus 1,200 from the employee. So total 2,400 goes towards EPF. Now what is the best thing about EPF is it gives us the compounding rate of interest. I hope you know the difference between compounding rate of interest and simple rate of interest. So this gives us compounding rate of interest, which is very beneficial to the employees. Now this is a long-term fund. Say somebody joins the work at the age of say 23 and he keeps on paying the EPF, that is 12%, that is 24% of his basic salary towards the EPF account, and he retires at the age of 60. So every month the contribution goes and there is compounding rate of interest. The interest rate now in India is fluctuating somewhere between 8.2% and 8.5%. So this keeps happening. So you can expect a huge amount that he gets at the end of his retirement. It is advised that we should not take out the EPF account, EPF money at all. It should be kept in the account for a very long period and it gives us a good corpus when we retire. That's the importance of EPF. Now what has happened here is 8.2 lakh have already withdrawn their money simply because there is salary cut, there are job cuts that are happening. So people are using this as emergency fund. Now government came up with a solution for this. They told either 3 months salary or 75% of the PF fund can be removed from PF because there is slowdown and all those things, and people are utilizing that option that the government gave. And this says that government has given away 3,243.17 crore rupees towards the withdrawal of PF. It is essential, it is necessary. There is no other way out because there are no salaries that are coming. But keeping in mind the country, economy and all those things and the future of the people, this is not great, but we cannot do anything. This is bad times for all of us. There is another good news that comes here, and this news comes from the fertilizer industry. Now what is told here is fertilizer sale up by 32% till May. This is expected because the agricultural activity is picking up, and as a result the fertilizer sale is going up. This is good. This is a good news that we have got. Right, let's go to the last news bit of this series. So here what is told is how low oil price can impact your investments. See, we all know that oil prices are decreasing. There are certain industries which are going to be benefited because of this. So the industries which will be benefited are given to us here. Will have positive impact on glass manufacturing, transport industry, power, plastic, lubricants, petrochemical, FMCG, paint, rubber, tire manufacturing companies. All these companies are going to benefit because of the lower prices. But if you take the individual consumption, we are not going to benefit much because we are all under lockdown, and we don't have the requirement to take out our vehicles, and we will not be benefited much. See, what we have to understand here is there are two indices that are used to decide the price of the crude oil. Now we know there is something called the OPEC countries supply the crude oil. If you take India as an example, 82% of our consumption is imported, and only 18% is what we produce in our country. So we are the second or third largest importers of crude oil in the world. There are two indexes. One is the Brent, BRENT. All countries follow this, and now the price is $20.56. That is the rate in which the crude is sold. Crude at some point had even gone as high as 50, 60, 100 and all those things. Now it has fallen down to 20.56. But USA follows another index. It's called WTI. So there the crude oil price is less than $2, but this is only for US, not for other countries. So we have to remember this Brent. So whenever you read the finance and economic papers like the Financial Express or Economic Times and Business Standard, Business Line, etc., you will have a lot of index that are given, Sensex and Nifty, gold price, rupee against dollar. You should also check for Brent, which is very important. That is the rate at which we purchase crude from the OPEC countries. So this is very important for us to remember. I hope this video was of some help to you. If you have any doubts, you can leave it in the comment section. If you're yet to register for our free video classes, you can click on the link which is given in the description and register yourself for the free video classes for CSEET. And this video series will continue and you can make the best use of it. Thank you so much.